Welcome to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint from Zero to Hero, Module 6.2, Ransomware Attack Investigation. First of all, I want to show a successful WannaCry attack. Hopefully you will never come across something like that on your life. Second, I will show what's happened when WannaCry runs in a fully protected device. And then I will do a deep dive investigation and show all the actions relevant when dealing with incidents and alerts. Anyway, let's dive into it. Okay, let's get started. First, I want to show how a ransomware attack can easily take over your files. I have a device called Windows 10 07, and to be honest, I have downgraded the security level from this device to give the option for me to run the WannaCry to have my files encrypted. Of course, I don't want WannaCry to spread over my other devices. This is why first I want to disconnect. I want to make sure this device is fully disconnected from my network, and then I will run WannaCry to show the encryption and how it works. When this first bit is done, and then I will move to, what's supposed to be a good configuration. I have another device here called Windows 10, 26, and 23. They are fully onboarded via MDE, fully protected, latest updates, and so on. And then I will try to run WannaCry again to see how Defender for Endpoint can really detect and avoid WannaCry to take over my files. And then I will do a kind of deep dive into the incidents and the alerts and show all the steps for you to do the remediation. But anyway, let's dive into my Windows 10 07. And first, let me show what would happen in an unprotected device. Okay, there you go. Yeah, this is my device, Windows 10 07. And as you can see in here, let me actually just double check. I think I have, yeah, that's right, yeah. I have disconnected this device from the network already. I'm using Hyper-V on my Windows 7, and then just quickly, if I go here to File, Settings, and then if I click in here on the networking, what I've done in here, just to play safe, is, yeah, I have disconnected this device. Okay, that's fine. Here on the left, as you can see, I have a folder called Documents, and then I have some, let's pretend, my day-to-day files are in here. As you can see, BMP file, a text file, another BMP, and so on. And what I really shouldn't be doing is I have downloaded a file, in this case WannaCry, and then in here, let me just dive into the folder. And here is actually the payload, the exe that will take over my device. As I said a few minutes ago, because I have downgraded the security level, the Defender for Endpoint security level from this device, now if I run this guy in here, yeah, there is a small, not a small, kind of, big message in here, but let's say I want to run anyway. Now it's taking the time, and believe it or not, that's pretty much it. If, yeah, I have loads of information in here, please read. And then if I have, if I'm kind of an end user and wondering, why all those files eventually popped in here, if I double click on here, yeah, here is really the message nobody wants to see. Yeah, what's wrong with my files? And then, the whole information in here, what's happening. If I have a look now, let me just minimize. If I have a look into my documents, okay, in here, yeah, really bad news. Yeah, as you can see, things are still happening in here. Got a terrible wallpaper in here. Yeah, same message from what I was reading before. Oops, then I'm wondering now. Yeah, still loads of things happening in here. If I'm just wondering, yeah, let me just run this guy in here. And then, yeah, probably you saw, hopefully not in real life, only on some web pages. Yeah, this is the worst nightmare somebody can get. All the information, the Bitcoin address is in here. And yeah, all the information, what I need to do to get my files back. As you can see, there is a countdown in here, and by the time I exceed that time, the price usually kind of double. If I'm a little bit lost, and I shouldn't be paying any ransom, but let's say as in here, contact us. If I click in here, yeah, now I can't, let's say, start, believe or not, messaging and talking to the, you know, to the ransomware gang behind this attack in order to organize the, you know, in order to organize the payment. Anyway, this is really the worst nightmare that can happen with anyone. As I was trying to show, if I go back to my folders, yeah, in here, just to kind of, you know, finish this bit, yeah, I had my file BMP, another file, you know, that was a TXT, and now they got renamed to WNCRY, and because they are fully encrypted. And yeah, there is no kind of, you know, easy tool, not tool at all, I can use in order to try to decrypt this information. And the only option I have is pretty much two options. One is to make the payment and then hope for the best and get my files, but you know, we always don't advise you to do that, because otherwise they will come after you again. And the other option is, you know, get rid of, format this device, do a full installation, refresh, and then restore my files. Anyway, this is a real, okay, this is not a pretending, not a simulator, this is a real WannaCry I want to show in action, and this is why I decided to play safe, and I have isolated this device from my network to avoid, you know, WannaCry to try to spread to my other devices. Anyway, this is what happens if you have an unprotected device with no antivirus, or a weak antivirus, an old antivirus, and so on. Okay, yeah, don't need this device anymore. Let me just close this guy. And now what I'm going to do, if I just go quickly back to my cookbook in here, now I will run the same procedure, or I will try to run the same procedure into my device called 23 and 26 and 23. But because in there they are fully updated, MDE is running, fully protected, and so on, I should not be able to run the WannaCry, or at least I will try to run, but I won't be able to complete the task. And then after that, I just need to wait a few minutes in order to get all the incident and all the alerts fully populated into my portal, and then I will show all the steps you need to follow to try to understand, you know, what's happened on your device, and to play safe as well, to make sure nothing was left behind. We can isolate the device, we can run a full scan, and so on. But anyway, let's go step by step. First of all, let me dive into those two devices and try to run WannaCry as well. Okay, let me dive back into, yeah, let me just double check in here. Yeah, let me start with my device, as you can see in here, device 23. Okay, it's fully protected, and the only way I found to be able to download WannaCry and to have in here was by excluding the download folders from the scan and from the protection. Okay, that's the only reason why the WannaCry payload is still in here, because I had to do a small prep in there. Okay, let me dive into the folder. Okay, if I go in here, yeah, as you can see, exactly the same payload. The Defender didn't detect yet, or didn't do anything, because the folder is excluded. By the time I try to drag and drop to my desktop, where it's fully protected, and then the Defender for Endpoint will block. Anyway, let me try to do that. Just drag and drop. Because it's a zipped file and is password protected, I now, probably the next step is where I need to type the password. Let me just copy to here. Yeah, if I can't remember. Okay, super password. And then by the time I will try now to run straight away. Yeah, in here. And yeah, I could, you know, is still the message in here. Let me try to run. And then I should not be able... yeah, anyway, the system already detected, the message was too quick. The system already detected as a possible virus. And in a few seconds, this file will get deleted from the desktop, and you know, I can see all the story into the alerts. Okay, let me try to do now exactly the same on my device 23. If I just go here, yeah, as you can see, as you can see, the file was, you know, removed from the desktop. Okay, now let me dive into device 23, and let me try to do the same. I have the WannaCry and WannaCry Plus. If I go in here, and then WannaCry in here, yeah, same story. Let me drag and drop to here, and then copy. Yeah, let me type the password. Okay, and quickly let me try to run. Okay. Yeah, if I try to run anyway, yeah, as you can see, my files are not encrypted. And now what is happening, the Defender for Endpoint is collecting all the telemetry and is feeding back this information to the Defender portal, where I will do kind of, a deep dive and show all the steps in order to do the investigation and to do the remediation as well. Anyway, I want to just save a bit of time. Let me pause the video for now, just to give a bit of time for the system to fully populate the information, and then I will start in a few seconds. Okay, a few minutes have passed. Now let's keep moving forward. As I did a few minutes ago, I run the WannaCry on device 26 and device 23. Now I have an incident and I have a few alerts as well. Just a very quick recap. Alert is a single incident. Okay, if I run WannaCry in a single device, that action will create an alert. When we have multiple alerts, kind of connected or related to each other, and then Microsoft group those alerts into a single incident, multiple alerts into a single incident. Anyway, let's dive into the interface for me to show all, the overview, and then very important, the file page for us to do a deep dive into the WannaCry file itself and so on. Anyway, the place to go is, if I go back to my to the portal, again, if you're kind of new, make sure you go into the security.microsoft.com. Okay, that's the place. And then here on the top left, under the incidents and alerts, let me start with alerts. Okay, if I click in there, now I can quickly see all the alerts I have. I can filter by week, 30 days, 6 months, and so on. Yeah, let me stick with 1 week, sorry. Okay, and then as you can see, the first 2 lines in here are the 2 devices I just completed the test, the device 23 and device 26. Yeah, really not looking good. The category for that is ransomware, could be malware, could be, different things. And it was detected, the detection source is antivirus. If there is anything regarding to behavior monitor, you will see in here the EDR instead antivirus. Because I haven't touched those 2 alerts at the moment, they are new, and then I can change them as close when I'm happy with everything. And interesting enough, as you can see, because ransomware, something, is always something big, Microsoft now is still running the full investigation, is running. Okay, later we can see here the status will change. Okay, let's dive to understand what's happening. Let me get the device 26, to start. Okay, now to dive into the alerts, very simple, just need to click into the alert itself, and then there are a few very important information in here. Initially, I can see what is the device, okay, the device name, if that incident is medium, high, informational, or low. In this case, yeah, ransomware, you might be wondering, okay, well, ransomware is always something very big. Why is not high, is only medium? Medium, because the good news is, I will show in a few seconds, the ransomware was prevented, okay, because it was blocked, it was prevented, and then in this case, is not like really high, is medium. This is just a tag, and then very important as well is always to know who is the user using that device. And that's interesting, okay, Li Yu is one of the company's director, and somehow got the ransomware in there. Okay, anyway, now here I can see the whole story, all the processes and so on. But what I'm really looking for is straight into the, if you can remember the name, this is the WannaCry payload. And then if I just expand in here, now, just to kind of prove to you, if you can remember, I tried a few seconds ago to drag and drop the WannaCry into the user desktop, and here was a time when the Defender for Endpoint managed to block that thing. Okay, the good news, you know, the really good news for the day is in here. Oops, in here, as you can see, it was prevented. Okay, sometimes is only detected, sometimes, you know, there are different information. In this case is prevented. The WannaCry didn't run at all on that device. Okay, here on the right side, I can get some other information as well. Yeah, the file was moved into the quarantine. Okay, this is thanks to my configuration, because we can set the protection level, and as far as I can remember, I think I set for all the threats as quarantine, you know, just to give me the chance to go there and restore if needed. But by default, when there are different threats, let's say high level, Microsoft remediate automatically. Mediums, yeah, there are some pre-configuration from Microsoft in how Defender should deal with each threat, and we can always, you know, via policy, we can change that configuration. Okay. Now is always a good idea for us, especially if it's a new threat, to do a kind of deep dive into the threat itself. Could be a website, could be a file, could be a malware, and so on. And then this is why let me now dive into, you know, this payload itself. Okay, let me go into the open file page. If I click in here, and then of course, very important, especially when it comes to ransomware, the first question is to ask, okay, is that payload detected in how many devices? Is only on my device 26 or 10 devices or 1000 devices, and so on. And then from here we can see. Straight away I can see there are 11 active alerts in regards to, you know, this payload. Of course, this is my lab, and I've been playing, you know, quite a lot with you know, this ransomware. Okay, other good information as well. In addition to my device 23, how many other devices have been detected with this payload? Yeah, I run before, for the first time it was detected on my Win 1030, and as the time, you know, progress, the information will pop in here as well. Really interesting. Okay, Microsoft is getting information from third-party elements as well. In this case, a quick information from VirusTotal. Eventually, if it's a new threat, you could be wondering if only Microsoft is detecting that threat, or, you know, how about the other vendors? This is why the information is here. Yeah, from 71 vendors, part of the VirusTotal, 66 are detecting that as a real threat. If you are kind of wondering who are those guys, I can easily click into the view in VirusTotal, click in there. Now I should be able to dive into the VirusTotal to get some more information. Of course, in these days, WannaCry is very, let's say, kind of popular. It's not a new threat. Pretty much anybody knows about that. But when it comes to a brand new threat, yeah, it's always nice to see how the other companies out there, they are, you know, looking in kind of flagging that threat. As you can see, out of 71, 65 companies, including, yeah, AVG, and yeah, there are some other, you know, big names in here as well. F-Secure, there are, you know, McAfee's in here, Symantec is in here, and so on. Yeah, few of them, you know, haven't detected, but Microsoft and all of these partners here, they, you know, really detected. Anyway, that's really enough. What I need to know is a button, okay, is a button. Here there are some other information as well in regards, in a few seconds I will show how we can, via indicator, to block this file, you know, whatever this file is found in any device on my organization, I want to be blocked straight away, not to give the user the chance to even double click on that file. And then the way to do that, we need the file hashes. In this case, it's #1 or 256 and so on. Anyway, in here now, please remember, I'm, you know, whatever I'm seeing here is related to the WannaCry payload. I can click in here in incidents and alerts to see how many incidents and alerts are related to this particular payload. And then, as you can see in here, of course, you know, I started under the incidents and alerts. Now, just to grab all the alerts
that, you know, at some stage happened related to this payload, you know, they are here, you know, quite a lot. And here I can see all, you know, the devices. I just need to kind of maximize a little bit, just a second. Yeah, if I maximize in here, and then I can see other devices. I've been, you know, playing quite a lot with WannaCry, 31, 30, all my devices. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, here is a kind of summary in regards to just in general, how many other devices the WannaCry was detected. In here, yeah, the device 23 and 26, they are not here yet. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, but if I go back to my 30 days, and then I should be able to see, you know, a few more devices, at least one device, and so on, that I run that. Okay, now the file name sometimes is, you know, that payload comes with some additional exe files as well. In this case, is a single payload, and this is brilliant. Okay. Actually, this is a new interface because it got changed, I think, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, maximum, because before we had to, there is an option to send the file to deep investigation. Then we had to kind of, you know, click in here, send to deep investigation in order to get additional information from Microsoft. It was, you know, usually it could take up to 10 minutes. What Microsoft did now, that thing happens automatically. If I click into the content file content, everything related to this particular bad file, WannaCry, is in here. Look, all the processes creation are in here. If you can remember, when I run the WannaCry in an unprotected device, I run, and then eventually, you know, slowly things started, you know, to pop into my device. Why? Because on the background, they were extracting and, you know, kind of, you know, taking over all the files in here. All the files written into my system, okay, are, you know, all in here. All the registry key, you know, read from, you know, from the system. And anyway, here's the full story. And very important, yeah, very important when it comes to the network activity. Yeah, because as you can remember, I switched off, I kind of, you know, shut down the network connectivity on my device. But in here, in a real scenario, usually, you know, when a ransomware starts, it starts sending some information to the gang, you know, in the background, to notify them another, you know, victim was compromised. And yeah, here we can catch what are the IP addresses where the ransomware started, you know, sending the information. All the, how could I call, the X-ray, okay, is in here. Anyway, I had enough. Now I'm sure this is a really bad threat, tagged by 66 additional vendor on top of Microsoft. All the information is in here. And then what I can do now is I really want to play safe, and I don't want ever any user to be able to run this application again. The best thing I can do is to add an indicator. If I click in there, now I can show in a few minutes the place where you can add an indicator manually. Just a very quick review. Via indicators, we can allow or we can block files and processes to be run, URLs, IP addresses, and certificates. Yeah, if I have good memory, these 4 elements we can allow, we can kind of, you know, whitelist or blacklist those guys. Anyway, the good news is because I was on the WannaCry payload, clicking from there, I don't need to copy the file hash, is in here already. Now I just need to give a name. Okay, let me just stick with, yeah, WannaCry. And then if I want to create this rule for maybe only the next 5 days, 10 days, 30 days, and so on, of course, because it's a really bad thing, I want to have that, you know, let's say forever. Okay, quick description, yeah, just to kind of save a bit of time. Yeah, WannaCry, I could get some statistics. Let me see, sometimes it takes a bit of time in order, you know, to get those statistics. But yeah, anyway, that's fine. Now let me click on next. Very important. Here's the place where you can't afford any mistakes. If I click on allow, and then I don't need to tell you what's going to happen. Across the board, anybody would be able to run WannaCry. What I really want to do is to block and remediate. Okay, anytime anybody try to engage with that file, the file is going to be blocked and remediate as well. It means, you know, deleted or at least sent to the quarantine. Click on next. Now I have the option in here to provide some additional information. I do want to generate an alert. Here, what is the severity? Because it's ransomware is going to be high. What is the category? In here, there is ransomware. As you can see, there are some other information in here. But anyway, let me stick with ransomware. That's fine for now. Click on next. Very important as well. Now I have the chance to apply this rule for my entire organization. Talking about ransomware, WannaCry, that definitely is a good option. Or I could click in here and then eventually select my groups. This is going to be only my Windows servers is going to be affected by this indicator, or Windows 11 and so on. Anyway, let me select every single device on my organization. Click next, and that's pretty much it. Now click on submit. Okay, just to show the place, let me pause for a second. Actually, I've done everything I wanted from here. Now, if I just go, if you are not familiar with the indicators, here is the place where you can create any indicators from the scratch. On the left, just click on settings, and then from here, now we have the options to make changes on Defender for Endpoint, identity, and all the other elements. Let me dive into endpoints. And then now all the configuration is in here, but what I'm looking for is the indicators. If I click over indicators, now I have those 4 options I told you a few seconds ago: file hashes, IP addresses, URLs and domains, and certificates as well. And as you can see, my WannaCry file hash, is in here. If I want to create manually, no rock science, really simple. Just click on add indicator and follow the wizard. Okay, simple enough. Anyway, now let me just go here to the alerts again. And let's say, of course, I haven't finished the full remediation because I want to do a deep dive into the device. But after that, I need to come back and close the alert. As you can see, at the moment is still new. And then what I want to do later, when I'm happy, nothing was left behind. The Defender for Endpoint managed to block, and there is nothing, left, as I said a few seconds ago. And then what I can do is click on Manage Alerts. As I think I showed in my previous recording. If I click on Manage Alerts, sorry, a bit, delay. And then here I can set as a resolved, or in my case, because I'm still working with these alerts, let me assign these alerts to, let's say Alex. Okay, let's pretend I'm Alex, or I could assign to another, another person. And here I want to see that is security testing, multi, let's say, okay, let's just, no, sorry, it's better to talk, sorry about that, delay, let's set as a malware for the moment. Okay, click on next. Okay, now what I want to do is let me dive into the device, and there are some very useful operation we can do, and some kind of additional analysis we can do on the devices as well. Please remember, I was working with 2 devices. Let me stick with the device 26 for the moment. Okay, if I click here on the left, click on devices, now I will see every single device fully onboarded. On my system, I have 12 devices in total, bunch of servers and Windows 10 and so on. And then let me dive into my device 23. As you can see, 26, sorry, devices here is an Azure AD join. The status, the risk level has been changed to medium and so on. Anyway, let me dive into my device. There are some useful information here, especially if you are working on the SOC team, kind of, doing the analysis. A few things I always do is, in here, we can see if that device, what is the operating system on that device, very important as well, what is the last communication with the system. okay, the last seen by Defender for Endpoint, the first seen, and eventually if this information is behind, I don't know, 12 hours, 6 hours, and then that's not good, maybe or probably the communication between the device and the Microsoft data center is down due to firewall proxy or something, okay? Anyway, in here now, not, looking from the overall alerts, but now everything I'm showing to you in here is around my device 1026. And yeah, in here I can see again all the old and the last, the old and the last alerts are fully in here. If I dive into any of these alerts, it's going to be, exactly the same what I already showed to you. Timeline, as the name suggests, absolutely everything happening on this device. Anytime a user launch an application, log on, log off, restart, absolutely anything is in here. If I had time, I could go now and try to locate exactly when was the time I run there, and all the registry key. In this case, I'm sure registry key read by the WannaCry when he tried to run. All the information is in here. Just really quickly, when it comes to the security, oops, that's not great. When it comes to the security recommendation, as the name suggests, if there is anything behind, maybe a missing configuration from my side to improve the security, okay, I should enable. Everything is in here as well. Okay, yeah, all of those rules in here block, all Office application from creating child processes and so on. As you can see, these are all related to attack surface reduction. But anyway, that's another story where I will provide another video how to remediate that. When I'm doing the analysis of any, desktop or any server, a good option is always to see if there is any missing patch. And believe or not, on my kind of day-to-day, time by time, I came across, across some Windows 10, Windows 11 servers with some or sometimes quite a lot of missing patches. That's, always not, not great. Okay, now some really interesting options in here. Sorry, I just need to refresh the page because it's still showing as isolated. That was from my previous test. I just want to go back to normal. Sometimes it takes a while for the isolation status to be updated here on the page. Let me, hopefully now it will be fine. If I dive into the device, yeah, this is device 26. Let me just check the communication. Okay, should be, yeah, as you can see, yeah, it was just a pending on the page. Okay, the communication is on, fully connected, and then I will show how we can isolate this device from the network. Okay, anyway, as you can see, the communication is all up and running. Yeah, the website is a bit, slow. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, if I just go back to my cookbook, yeah, overview is in here, deep analysis in there. I already added an indicator. Now, when I'm kind of, diving into the device, let me show the options when it comes to, I can force a full scan just to kind of, play safe after even the system was showing as fully prevented, but we could, force a full scan or a quick scan. This is really interesting, especially when maybe you need to open a ticket with Microsoft, when things are not working well. I can collect a full package investigation from here, restrict apps and some other. Anyway, let's explore now. When I go back, yeah, as you can see, the isolation, my device was actually not isolated, was from my previous lab. Anyway, now if I click on those three dots, I have a couple of things, to do from here. The first one is, yeah, maybe why not to run a scan. If I click on the scan, and then I have the option now to run a quick scan that will take only, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. Just the scan goes over the Windows files, just the kind of critical files in memory. And don't need to tell you, if I do a full scan, and then means, absolutely every single file, every single registry key. Anyway, let's say, Okay, just investigation. And then in a real scenario for a ransomware case, I would advise to run a full scan. Now, just to save a bit of time, I will push a quick scan. Okay, click in there, and now, yeah, you know, that will start in a few minutes or a few seconds. Okay, that's good. If I click on those three dots again, okay, the full scan is running. What I can do as well is, because, you know, eventually, especially if the ransomware or malware was not fully, how can I say, prevented, I would say straight away, what we should really do is to isolate the device. Okay, if I push the button in here, and then we have two isolation mode, a fully isolated device, or I could say, yeah, I want my user to be able to keep kind of, you know, reading mails, keep kind of, you know, communicating via Teams and joining meetings and so on. But you know what, because it's a ransomware, I really want to play safe, and then I want to isolate absolutely everything. Okay, yeah, let's just get a bit of time. One more time, as you can see, the device is fully running, fully connected, and now by the time I push this button, usually takes a few seconds, but the system, yeah, as you can see, now the Defender for Endpoint send kind of some instructions to the local firewall, and then the local firewall change the rules to fully isolate this device. This device now can't connect to any local resource, no printers, no domain controllers, nothing. The only communication that is still happening is between the device and the, of course, Microsoft data centers where the Defender for Endpoint services, okay, are running. Okay, the device is fully isolated, but the good news is now I can, you know, keep working on that device. If I click in here one more time, there are some more information in here. Another one for us to play safe is to restrict app. Okay, app restriction means only Microsoft signed apps are able to run on those devices. Anything else, Acrobat Reader, it doesn't matter. Anything that is not Microsoft, you know, we won't be able to run that. Okay, let me just to kind of, you know, keep playing. Let me release from isolation. Let's say I'm happy so far with the, okay, let's say remediate it, just to make, you know, the full connectivity back. Okay, again, same story. If I go back to that device, it should, yeah, there you go, like magic. Okay, the device now is fully connected again. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's keep moving. Now let me show, if I try to open up here Google Chrome, it should work because I haven't pushed the button in regards to app isolation. Yeah, as you can see, no stress at all. Okay, again, if I want to play safe, let's say I'm early stage on the investigation, I'm not too sure what's happening on that device, I could isolate the device, and I could, you know, even come here and say, let's restrict app execution. If I click in there, and now, you know, same story. Okay, investigation on the way. Let me confirm. If I dive back to my device, yeah, there you go. As you can see, a quick message saying the app and browser control has been started. And then if I try to open up Google, double click in here, yeah, as you can see, it doesn't run. If I try to open Microsoft stuff, maybe let me just, you know, quickly, let me try a Notepad. Yeah, it's fine. If I try, you know, silly one here, but anyway, calculator, and yeah, all the Microsoft signed applications, yeah, no problem at all. But third-party application, they don't run on this device anymore until, of course, until I go back to my you know, control in here. Yeah, sometimes what we need to do is just refresh the page again. It might take a few seconds, few minutes, but sometimes, you know, by the time you refresh the page, we should be fully back in business again, eventually to release that device isolation, or to remove, I would say, probably is the best way to say, remove the device isolation from there. If I go back to here, yeah, no message so far. Let me just dive back to there. Yeah, a bit slow, but it's coming. Okay, the another two very useful, and I've been using on my day-to-day, I wouldn't say quite a lot, but you know, time by time, are the collecting a full package and running automated investigation. Let me just go back to here. Now I should be able, yeah, as you can see, yeah guys, that's the trick, okay? Eventually if it's grayed out, just make sure you refresh the page. Now remove app restriction, click in there, and let's say device, okay, make sure you get some better, you know, better notes in here than me. Click on OK, and then if I dive back to here, yeah, I could try now straight away to see. Usually takes a few seconds. Let me try straight away. And then, yeah, there you go. It works like that, okay? Okay, so far so good. If I go back to my 3 dots, yeah, another one I had to use a few times when it comes to, what's the option I'm looking for? Yeah, this one here, collect investigation package. On my real life experience, especially when dealing with some Defender for Endpoint in complex environment, including servers, a few times I had to do is when we open a ticket with Microsoft and we kind of was, how could I say, challenging enough, and then Microsoft requested us for us to send a full package investigation for their engineers to go and do a deep dive on my device. Let me show how it works. If I click in here, and then, yeah, let's say, okay, yeah, investigation, and then what's happening now is I will, yeah, in a few seconds into my download folders, I will get all, let's say, a full report from the device in terms of open TCP and UDP ports, processes running on memory, you know, absolutely everything happening on that device. I will have in a single package where I could kind of do an analysis offline or send this information to somebody else to help me. For example, Microsoft engineers. Okay, I will show that in a few seconds when it is available. Click in there. Now let's keep moving. The next one I used a few times is the following. Initiate live. Oh yeah, this one here. Initiate live response session. Okay, this option in here, when I push the button, what's happening is I will get, it's not really a PowerShell kind of, you know, session, is a different session, but from here there are a few commands available. On real life experience, what I used before was the following. When I got a few bad alerts, even when the alerts said, oh yeah, it's fully remediated and so on, eventually, you know, my client just want to kind of make sure nothing was left behind. In my case, talking about ransomware, how can I make sure the WannaCry payload is really gone from my device? Yeah, and here, if I type, oops, let me just click, yeah, if I type help, and then now I'm able to see what are the live response built-in commands. As you can see, you know, I can do CLS, connect, dir, folder, and one of them is the find file. Okay, is in here. Yeah, is in here somewhere. Okay. Another thing I can do is to upload file to library. I could have a PowerShell command. A PowerShell script that could do, you know, loads of kind of investigation for me. And the good thing is, one time when I upload that file into the library, from now on, every time when we start a live investigation, a live response, sorry, on any device on my organization, I can benefit from that PowerShell command. Okay, from here, yeah, I'm looking now to run a find file. First of all, let me just quickly duplicate, or maybe just to play safe, security.microsoft.com. Let me just, or maybe it's quicker for me to get from here. Now what I want to do, I just want quickly to get exactly the file name from the WannaCry. Okay, if I go to downloads, WannaCry, and then in here, yeah, let me get exactly that name. Hopefully, I can do the properties. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, let me just copy and paste that one here. Okay, now if I go back to my live respond, I'm going to use this command in here. Okay, called find
file, and then I can specify whatever is the payload, whatever was the kind of the malware, just to make sure that file is not into the system anymore. Okay, find file, and then hopefully I can paste in here. Let me see. No. Paste. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, that's fine, yeah. Now thanks to the live response, okay, I'm not kind of, connected to my device via RDP or PowerShell, nothing. Thanks to the live response, okay, the system is searching for that particular file and didn't find. Okay, you could be wondering here, I'm not trying to trick anybody. The file is still on my folder because it's zipped, okay, it's zipped and is password protected. Okay, this is why the file was not really found, okay, in here. But when I, if you can remember from the demo, when I try to extract the file, and I extracted the file, I run from the desktop and the file was blocked and was deleted. Okay, this is the peace of mind. The WannaCry.exe, or that crazy name.exe is not on my system. From a kind of normal file point of view. It's still encrypted because it's password protected. Okay, anyway, that's when it comes to file response, and then there are other commands I could use, but for now, yeah, let's say I'm happy or delighted, I would say. Nothing was left behind when it comes to the desktop. Let me confirm. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now if I go back to my just let me go back to here to my Windows 10 26, and I think these are the main thing. I just want to, before I finish this recording, quickly show the incidents, and then we are done. Let me just click in here. Oh yeah, I still need to see the option when it comes to the package. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, the last one is the initiate a live response. Okay, initiate a live response is the following. When there is something big enough for Microsoft, even if Microsoft detects and block malicious malware or so on, sometimes Microsoft starts an automated investigation automatically. Okay, full scan on files, registry, and anything in regards to that device. What I can do is, again, as a peace of mind, I could say, yeah, you know what? Because it's a ransomware, I want to play extra safe. What I can do, click on initiate an automated investigation, and then eventually, as you can see, the investigation now has been initiated, and then later I can go over the incidents and alerts on this device to get the result okay from there. Okay, a few minutes have passed. Now let me show the package is done. If I click on those three dots, I'm still over the device 26, sorry. If I click on those three dots, now the collect investigation package is back in here, means it's completed. The place I need to go is over the action center. If I click in there, now there you go. Here is the click what I need to do. Okay, package collection, is available for download. If I click in there, I did that already just to buy a bit of time. Now, if I go into my download folder, as you can see, an MDE investigation package .zip is there. The new one, okay, is in here. And then what I did already was I extracted, and all the information is in here. As you can see, loads of things when it comes to, I can see now every single process running, that time when I took the package, all the SMB sessions. It means if anybody was connected via share folder on my server, user groups and so on. Let me show, of course, I'm not going to show every single file, otherwise this video is going to take 4 hours. But if I go just quickly into the processes, double click there, there is a CSV file, double click in here. And then, as I said before, is a full X-ray from this device, or from that virtual machine when I took the package. Okay, all the processes are in here, the folder, the credentials, everything is in here. And again, for a kind of deep dive investigation, is a very useful information. Same story if I go back one of the folders.
and now go over, can be anything. Let me try, the network connections. Just want to understand if, thanks to that bad ransomware, if my device was connected to any kind of unknown IP addresses. From here, I can see the ARP table, DNS cache, IP config, but probably the most important is the active network connection. If I click in there, and then, same story, I should be able to see all the ports, okay, the IP addresses. So far, I probably need to go in here. Exactly. And then, here is the IP address and the port and so on. Of course, I don't have, any, but in a real scenario, here could be, not could be, it will be the place where we could be able to identify a public IP address where my device has established, a connection and could be sending some important files to those bad guys. Okay, I think you got the idea. I could just keep clicking on those things. Maybe the last one. Okay, services. I really want to know every single service installed, up and running on my device. Again, from here, I could identify a service, maybe the hackers injected into my system, and thanks to that service, they can have a persistent connection to my device. Okay, all the services are listed in here with the user, and all the information from here as well. Anyway, that's the useful information. As I said, in my case, a few times I had to send that zip file to Microsoft for them to help in a kind of complex troubleshooting. Okay, and then finally, the last thing before I finish off this video is if I go back now to the incidents. Now finally the incident is in here. Okay, the WannaCry ransomware was prevented. And please remember, now I'm under the incidents. If I maximize the incident, now I can double check. There are 2 alerts, and those 2 alerts, as you already know, they are from my device 23 and 26. Now, just to get a summary from all the alerts in this incident, if I click into the incident itself, if I just click in there, some information now you already know because I was kind of showing the alerts. But this is really useful if there is a big, let's say, collection of alerts on my organization, could be involving, I don't know, 50 users, 100 devices, and so on. Here is the alert story. Again, what's the time, what's the date and time, what is the device, 23, 26. Here is the incident graph. Again, this is very simple, but if eventually the WannaCry managed to connect and was connected to some external IP addresses, all the services, all the IP addresses will be listed in here. And then, again, one more time, the alerts, all the assets, in this case, my 2 devices, the investigations on those 2 devices. Very interesting, the evidence and response, probably that's one of the most important. If I click in there, and then again, just a summary when it comes to the incident. If the incident alerts, they have been kind of prevented or blocked, or whatever is the status in here. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show on this video, ransomware attack investigation. I hope you found this information useful. If so, please give a quick like, subscribe my channel, follow me on LinkedIn, and see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.